George of the jungle.
Okay, let's be real about it. Everybody's obsessed with having as high of a credit score as they possibly can. And even somebody who's at 750 is going to sit and agonize in pain over, well, why is my credit score not higher? And so for those of you who it's really important that you have an 800 credit score, that's what we're going to be discussing today in thecreditjungle.com. This is George Anderson. Thanks for dropping in. And I just want to say that this is coming from personal observation of probably close to 100 people that I've seen who actually have 800 credit scores. And we're talking across the board, 800 credit scores on all three bureaus using the mortgage Fico version of the credit scoring system, which is much more difficult to achieve than on Vantage Score, which you would see with Credit Karma. So I think once I explain how you do it, you may not be that impressed, because if somebody has a mortgage, if they have a car payment, one or two, and a few different credit cards, and they've never missed a payment on anything, but you have that much debt on there, you're not probably very, very unlikely to ever have an 800 credit score. You're going to be in the high 700s, and the truth is, once you're in the mid 700s and higher, you're going to have the best available terms for insurance, car payments, mortgage loan, any other type of debt or anything else that you'd want to go into that bases it on a credit rating. So it's not that big of a deal. But because people want to know, here's my observation. And, I do a lot of loans for first-time buyers. And for a variety of reasons, a lot of times the younger kids, especially nowadays, have a good load of student debt. And when you calculate those payments in there, the debt ratios aren't so great. And they need mom or dad, grandma or grandpa to help co-sign. Well, most of the people that I have seen that have the 800 credit scores are quite a bit older, old enough to have had their house paid off, have their vehicles paid off, and they have a couple of credit cards, but they don't need to use them for anything. And it's just a convenience that maybe once in a while they'll make a purchase here and there, and then when the statement comes, they pay it off. And it's kind of like the old George Carlin joke, that you go to the bank if you need a loan, and the bank says, well, we can't give you a loan. Well, why can't you? I really need it. Oh, we know. And that's why we can't give you the loan, because you need it. So you're telling me if I didn't need the money, that you would lend me the money? Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of the same thing. So you get to the point to where all your debts are paid, you don't need to use credit for anything. Chances are you're never going to default on anything because you don't need the credit. So you're just using it as convenience. So is it just the fact that there's a couple of credit cards, or is there something in addition to that? Well, a couple more secrets on that. First of all, those credit cards are not your department store credit cards or a local bank or credit union that might think that they are a big fish in a small pond. Those are credit cards that are going to be with major banks: Capital One, Chase, Wells Fargo, US Bank, Bank of America. I mean, just think of them. There's a half a dozen of them or so that are big national banks. And the credit scoring algorithm recognizes that there's a vetting process involved with issuing a card and giving somebody like that a $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 limit that you're not going to get if you're over there buying clothing and trying to get 20% off at Christmas by having them issue a card. So those credit cards are a little bit different. The credit scoring algorithm rewards people for having that card in the first place. And then how do they use it? Well, first of all, that account is going to be open and active for at least 24 months, never having had a late payment on it. But then the other thing is their balance to limit ratio, the amount of credit that they're using, is way less than you would think. Okay, is it 30%, which everybody thinks? No, it's much less than that. Is it less than 10%? Yeah, it's less than 10%. Most of those people might only be using 1%, maybe 2 or 3% of their available credit limit per month, because again, they're using the card as a convenience, not as a necessity. And when you have a pattern like that and you've demonstrated that over a period of time, well, you're going to get very, very high credit scores. So if it's that important to you, that's how you do it. So anyway, thanks for coming into thecreditjungle.com today. I would like to talk with you about your situation. And if you would like to do that, you can push button, get mortgage professional. And I hope to see you soon. Thanks and have a great day.